Hiya guys, it's Talon here. We're looking at an achievement called Bevrijding, which is starting as Netherlands, relocate your government to the East Indies, and then on liberation, take your country back. I have tried this 8 different ways, and because I only play on Iron Man, I've been trying this for 3 straight days now. I finally got it last night, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I was having so much problems. So we'll start the game, which is Netherlands. Regular Iron Man historical. The problem I had was that, number one, America will not be interested in doing anything at all with Japan until Europe's defeated. Whether that's a recent thing, I don't know, but it does cause a massive, massive problem. Number two is, since a lot of the guides came out, Germany has had a huge buff, and when I say a huge buff, they will beat Russia every single time now without intervention. There's no sort of middle ground to that. Another big problem is that with La Resistance, Spain will turn nationalist every single time without fail. And I know that. And that causes another big problem. They will never turn Republican. What causes a bigger part of the problem, and this is compared to older guides, is that in the last update, they changed the cost of researching submarine technology. They upped the cost, which makes submarines a lot, in theory, trickier to get now. Now, we're lucky because in our national focus tree, we can actually get some bonuses anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. But it's just made the whole thing more complicated. Now, the guides that say, oh yeah, you know, sort of bomb Germany, all that sort of stuff, generally, I have tried that, don't work anymore. The highest you'll get them, even if you're using 500 strategic bombers, is to about 5% factory damage, which isn't enough. So I've found another way. Here we go then. Right, we are Netherlands. I will be keep cutting this video in bits and pieces, simply because otherwise it would end up as about a 5-hour long video. So here we go. Right, we're going to be starting off with form new government. There we go. Right, research wise, it's going to be more or less generic for the majority of it. I will be grabbing base machine tools. I will be getting the first strategic bomber, and the other thing I will be getting straight away is the first naval doctrine. Right, civilian factories, we won't be building anything on the mainland. We are going to be building a load of stuff in the East Indies to prepare us for when we get there. We haven't got a huge amount of civilian factories, so I'm going to be going for this bit of land over here is going to be the contested one. So generally I'm going to be sticking anything civilian over there. Military and dockyards are fine in most other places. This little bit of island in the middle here is the one that never really gets invaded. So if you want to stick some military factories down, that's a good one to do it on. Maybe sticking a dockyard down there as well. If you've got spare civilian factories needing to build something, just keep getting stuff built down here, that's fine. Right, onwards and upwards. Next thing we're going to be doing is we've got 4 military factories at the moment. We're going to be having one that's just on guns. We're going to be having the second one that's on 3 guns. Why have I done that? Okay, well it's because this one's going to be getting changed into aeroplanes fairly quickly, and because of that it means we won't lose the retention off this top one, so that's absolutely fine. The next military factory we get built is actually going to be doing infantry equipment as well, so that's fine. Now the important one, right, so one on convoys, everything else building submarines. We're going to end up with a lot of submarines for this, and we'll also be buying some steel. We'll grab this from Britain for now. I don't really care about being 200, rather keep the civilian factory. Right, the divisions. We're going to be getting rid of all of all of our own divisions. We're going to be going on to recruit and deploy. This little button here, Dutch East Indies. Copy the top one, and we're going to be training a lot of these guys down here. So it's going to be pretty much unlimited. We are going to be making loads and loads and loads of them, deploying them as soon as they can be deployed. So they'll be set on high priority, reinforcements and upgrades down on minimum. the last run through I actually had a pretty good spy agency. The problem was it didn't really do very much, so I'm not particularly bothered about that. So that's fine as it is, and the garrisons don't really care about. So there we go. Right, let's make a start. And with that done, so I'm going to keep this video as sort of easy as possible. We're going to be going for abandon the gold standard. After that, and I will be cutting this a little bit out, we're going to be going for overturn military budget cuts, and down this little submarine section here, prepare naval expansion, cornerstone of colonial defence, and rely on submarines. Right, now going back to research, the problem with this is it's going to be quite a long game. Yesterday I had the achievement by sort of summer 1943, but you will get the vast majority of the research trees, so I just can't show everything. Generally speaking, the submarine's going to be important. The next time we research an aeroplane thing is going to be until 1940 anyway. So just for now, just keep going through all the industry stuff. One that is very handy to keep up with is the fuel refining on the right hand side. But yeah, other than that, so I'm going to be going for concentrate industry. Okay, so strategic bombers done. Again, that research slot there is kind of surplus requirements now. We will be going down this left tree here. Regarding the focus trees, the naval one, we will end up getting bonuses for 3 of these, so there's no point in doing another one of those yet. Air doctrines, the plane's going to be making loads and loads of points when they are finally bombing, so we'll be working through that. So like I say, just for now, you can, if you want to go through some of these, it's not particularly necessary, so we'll just be going through the standard, wrong button, hang on a second, we choose the right one. Yeah, so we will be going through the industry for now. Again, do keep remembering to deploy these guys. Now that the planes are researched, again, this last one, I'm going to ditch that now and just put him building strategic bombers. So that's fine. We could do with a little bit of rubber. Let's have a look here. I don't want to buy from Dutch East Indies, so yeah, United Kingdom will be absolutely fine for that. So once I've built a few, I will tell you what we're doing next. Right, one thing I forgot to mention, I've just gone over 150 political power. One that is really worth getting right away as soon as you can get it is the military theorist. Now, that's going to become evident a bit later on. Don't worry about the experience racking up, because we're going to be using every single bit of it. Okay, we've got another military factory. I'm going to actually stick this one onto guns. 2 is absolutely fine for guns. After that, absolutely every other one we get now, it won't be this many, will be used on strategic bombers. Right, now we've actually got 4 aircraft made, so that's fine. I just want to... This is actually something that I was playing around with yesterday, so we're going to be coming onto our sole little airfield over here. Sticking all 4 across. And we're going to be changing his limit to 100. Now we're actually going to end up with probably about 5 of these. Maybe 4, 5 later game, but that's absolutely fine. Every time this reaches 100, just make a new squadron. Right, now similarly, I just noticed that in our reserve fleet bit over here, we've actually got 2 submarines made now. These first 2 guys, I tend to just merge these ones together. It's just because they don't do very much anyway. This one over here, we're actually going to give a commander to, which will be this top guy. Now, what we're going to be doing is going on to Task Force Composition Editor, raising that limit to 5. Now, every time we get that raised to 5, and we get some spare ones, we're going to be making another one of 5. So we'll end up with about somewhere between 6 and 8 of them. Right, now when Cornerstone of Colonial Defence is done, that will give us 3 bonuses for the naval doctrines. So we'll be going for that one, and that one, straight down the submarine path there. Other than that, we got one more to do. This last one we don't actually have to do straight away, but I will, just to keep this video nice and simple. So yeah, that's that dealt with. So we'll actually be having 1 research slot just on the naval doctrines at the moment. The other 2 can just be on industries, absolutely fine. Now I've got some stored political power. The only important thing about this is we do need to save 300 of it. So once you go above 300, anything you want to spend over that, it's entirely up to you. I tend to literally just keep storing and storing just for the simple reason that once war kicks off, we can flick a lot of these things over onto different things because we've got absolutely no war support at the moment. But yeah, so if you're having questions about political power, that's where it's ending up. Right, with that last submarine one done, so we've gone straight down there. Next one I'm going to be doing is appoint new Supreme Commander. Now I just want to throw in a really quick note on La Resistance. You'll see I've actually got it enabled. That's up the top here. The last game, when I actually won this, I did have... Sorry, I'm going to keep playing this. I did have La Resistance turned on. I built a spy agency. I ended up with, I think it was 8 or 9 spies doing various things. It's not worth it for two reasons. Number one is that the two viable places to do, Spain and Turkey, Turkey will turn democratic. It won't actually affect the game at all. They won't join the Allies, or they didn't last time. Spain won't turn, even if you focus really heavily with all the possible spies on Spain, they won't turn democratic until 1941, early 42. They won't join the Allies, so that absolutely makes no difference at all. Sort of, you do some research, just another generic one. Equally, the other one I did manage to flip democratic, which could have changed the war, was Manchukuo over here. And that was fun, doing that. It was very, very simple. However, there is one massive negative with doing it, which is that when a spy gets captured, there's two ways to free him. It's a roll of the dice. It'll either be 200 infantry equipment, or it'll be 50 support. And the problem with 50 support is every time I had to make 50 support, I had to take 2 factories away from the strategic bombers just to make them, which lost me the efficiency when I put them back on afterwards. And to be honest, it just, for what I actually benefited out of it, it just was not worth it. So that's why, yes, I have got La Resistance turned on with this to answer questions in the comments, but I won't be using a spy agency in this run. Right, with appoint new Supreme Commander done, the choice is yours. I tend to go for the left-hand one. It really doesn't matter, because say the actual guns we're going to be using are kind of irrelevant anyway. Right, with that done, we're actually going to leave. We need secret staff talks. We're going to come back to that because it needs 15% world attention, so that's fine. Right, back over to here. Continue the public works. Now, a quick note on this, which is we're going to be going down as far as expand the artillery and that one there. Right, so we're going to be doing that one, that one, that one, that one. Do not, under any circumstances, and I did make this mistake, which cost me 4 hours one night, do not continue the Zoo to Z works. The problem with that one is, although it looks very, very tempting with, you know, sort of construction speed and all that, you then can't do Curtail Colonial Autonomy. The problem with that is you then can't continue the war in Batavia, which means that you can't get this entire branch. So do not, let's say we're going to be going down this left tree now, do not go as far as continue the ZDZ works. I've completely forgot about the Navy, so just come across here, we've got 6 in storage now, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Create a new task force, and in fact both of them are going to be going across into our little friend here. 1 and 2. That last one's going to be going up to a limit of 5. So already we're getting quite a lot of submarines. That's 10. In fact, I'm just going to change his editor. That's perfect. So yeah, it's like I say, every time you get spare submarines now, just stick them with him. Okay, so National Spain took 1 state there, and it looks like they're about to kill Republican Spain again. And this is what I was saying, is that with La Resistance, every single time now it will go nationalist. There is no other way around it. Which is a shame, because it would have made our life a lot easier if it went Republican, but even if you've got spies galore trying to boost them into democracy, it will not work. So every time you run out of troops to deploy, make sure you keep adding new ones. We want as many deployed as possible, all absolutely untrained and unequipped. So this one's nearly done. I haven't even got a clue how many we've done so far. Let's have a quick look. Loads. Excellent. Okay, but yeah, the more the merrier. The more we can get of those, the better this will be. Right, so quick note. What are we on? Late 1937. It will still take 336 days for the submarine hull. we do want to get all these sort of things. I am going to pick up the... again, I'm just keeping one research slot for the naval stuff, so magnetic detonator, we'll also go for the other naval stuff as well. Once we've got submarine 3, then we can actually dabble with making a new one. Okay, and with the last one from that tree done, that gives us another couple of military factories, which will get stuck around to strategic bombers. We're doing good. Again, don't go for that. That's a big red flag. Now, you should have had Anschluss happen by now, which will push the world tension up, which means we can do secret staff talks. Now, one thing I haven't covered so far, as I suddenly remembered, is training. And training can really help. These guys can go out. I shouldn't even realise they were still there. Bye-bye. Right, so yeah, with training, every time you get a sort of full lot of 100, yeah, stick them training, that's absolutely fine. Once they reach their max, just take them off training, otherwise you'll be using planes for no reason. Same goes with submarines as well, so again, the training side of things I'm not really going to go into too far. I'll leave that down to you. Right, with secret staff talks done, there's a very, very important little box to click. Regarding national focuses now, that's everything we need off the middle. Now we're going to be working down this tree here. The way we'll be doing it is going to be going for that one. Basically everything here that's to do with the East Indies we want now. So that's fine. Now there's an important box to click, kind of important, it doesn't really matter a huge amount, but see if I can find it very quick. Prepare evacuation gold reserves, tick that. That just gives us a nice little boost with the exiled status when the war kicks off. Okay, now with the first focus done on that tree, we're going to start clicking, because we've got loads of political power, we're going to start clicking these two little oil ones here. They really, really help, because we're going to be on a bit of an oil problem fairly soon, let's put it that way. Right, now that these two here are done, I think we'll go for submarine hulls. What are we? We're November 38, and yeah, it's a good time, 218 days is pretty realistic. Right, now with the Crown Jewel colony done, the important one to get grabbed now is Curtail Colonial Autonomy. Once that's done, then it'll be back to the main tree again. This will just start pulling the East Indies a bit closer to us. Right, now we've got an absolute ton of political power. There's a couple of guys that I just want to buy really quick. The first one is Infantry Expert. We won't be doing any fighting, we will be doing a lot of defending, so that's fine, right. The rest, it doesn't really matter a huge amount. One really important one to buy is actually going to be Commerce Raiding, and with the Air Force, Night Operations is an absolutely fine one. So yeah, that's pulled us down to just over 300 political power, which is enough for what we want to do. So we're in March 39, now is a reasonable time to go for the next strategic bomber up. As long as it's done sometime around 1940, it's just a much better one than the last one. So yeah, 3940, that's absolutely fine. Okay, we've just researched Submarine 3. So I missed it when it came up, but that's fine. Right, so just researched Submarine 3. So what we're going to do now is the construction here. We'll let him build the last one, but we're going to start a new line now. So create variant. We're going to boost this up a little bit. We're going to give him engine 3. We're going to give him torpedo 3 and torpedo 3 there. So that's going to be our new submarine. That's fine. And once he finishes, he can have all those dockyards. Bearing in mind we are now in June 39, so we're going to lose most of the dockyards as soon as we lose the Netherlands anyway. But yeah, that's absolutely fine. Now, sometime around now, you will get the notification coming up saying that we can lower the autonomy of a subject. We're not going to do that just yet. Now, currently I'm working on Sumatra. Once that's done, then we'll come back to that. Right, Sumatra is now done. Boom. And this is where the fun begins. Right, national focus-wise. See, how was that for good timing? We're going to be choosing reinforced Java, that's absolutely fine. Right, what are we doing now? We are doing, this is the important bit now. We are going to be going on to recruit and deploy. If we can cancel everything else off now, that's fine. This infantry division that we've been creating, we're going to edit that. We've got loads and loads of points up there. And just keep adding all the infantry that we can. That, This is fun. Right. This won't ever be used in combat, but you'll see the reason in a minute. And one more. That. So yeah, 70, that's fine. And what you will notice as soon as I unpause is, if we go on to Dutch East Indies, they currently have 857,000. That's about to go through the floor. Boom. They're out, and now what we can do is reduce the autonomy, annex Dutch East Indies. Boom, and all the people that we have, we will disband the whole lot. That has just given us 1.62 million manpower, which I'll be honest with you is plenty for our needs. So that's that done. Now we'll just wait a minute because, like I say, we've got a justification against us, and yeah, there we go. Okay, so they have declared war on us, and this is where the fun begins. So, gateway to Europe's now been bypassed, battlecruiser plans been bypassed, there's loads of stuff been bypassed. So, this way we need a quick bit of organisation. So the very first thing we'll do is join the Allies, thank you very much. These will cancel out in a second because they've already got military. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Right, so, this is where the fun begins. We will grab our aeroplanes. Managed to make 3 complete squadrons and 1/2 a squadron, and what we're going to be doing is dumping the whole lot right down here in Malta. So we'll just wait for them to get across there. Meanwhile, our ships, I do have a few spares, but say 6 lots of 5 is absolutely fine. We'll have on convoy raiding. In fact, the first thing I'm going to do is just right click and move them down to Tunisia, right, and on convoy raiding all around Italy. So Italy is our main focus of this. So we'll just wait for the planes to get down there. Bomb. And every single one of them is going to be on the same thing, which is going to be on strategic bombing, and we'll be focusing on military factories. Now, once they're down there, that's fine. 2 of them we're going to be having going to Italy, the other 2 we're going to have them going up to the Alpine region. So, that's us set up for now. We'll continue once we have capitulated. So with reinforced Java done, sorry, it just popped up. Now we can actually start doing things. So, Foundation of Defence is a worthwhile one. We won't bother with the gateway to Europe. That'll actually bypass anyway. So the next one I'm actually going to do is going to be the Foundation of Defence, because that will help us get a bit further down. It looks like we're just about to capitulate. Yes, we have. That's absolutely fine. Now, what you'll notice, because we evacuated the gold reserves, we start with legitimacy. There we go, 21. Now, what we can do is, I was saying to you about making sure these stay ticked. Also, now, just for time being, we'll keep lobby for support ticked as well. Right, a quick note and saying I totally forgot. It's all the excitement. Right, is we will enable automatic split off for that. We will also engage at low risk until most of them have got submarine 3s. That's fine. Now, you're going to ask me what we're doing with this other lot here. Well, what we're doing with them, we will give them an admiral. They're actually going to be coming down to the East Indies. They won't have a huge role to play. They won't really do much, but they can play their own little part a bit later on. Right, now we've lost the mainland. You'll see that we've actually got barely anything at all. That, ironically, is absolutely fine, because we're going to pick up some dockyards and stuff, so I'm just going to leave this template as it is for now. Right, now one very important thing when this box comes up, it can be any time. I think last time was actually 1940 it happened. UK requests naval integration. We will not serve under them. We've spent so long making our submarines, we know exactly what we want to do with them, and it doesn't involve the UK. We do not serve under them. Right, foundations defence done. We can now go continue the war in Batavia. Now I do want to try and get the war support. I'm on 48, just above the 50. This would be handy, so I'm just going to do some quick propaganda. Right, and when that is done, there's a couple of things we can do. Okay, now, first thing is we are going to be going for Western Capital, expand the Colonial Army, and East Indies war machines. Whichever order you want to do those in is fine. Another very important thing now is our capital now has moved down here, so effectively this is our country. It's given us a factory and a dockyard, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it will actually help. Anyway, we'll pick up some more, that's absolutely fine. Most important thing right at this moment in time is we're going to be going on to build some divisions. The Colonial Garrisonian, that one there, the one with the little red arrows, train them. And we're going to be making a lot of these guys. So, we're actually going to be having the reinforcements to standard now. Upgrades can stay low. Yeah, we're making a lot of these, as many as we can. We've already built quite a lot of guns, so it shouldn't be a problem. There's no right or wrong to how many of these guys you can have. The more you can make, the better. And for the simple reason that about 1941, mid to late 1941, we are going to get invaded by Japan, because America's absolutely hopeless at protecting the Philippines. But I do know the sort of 3 places where they tend to hang out. So yeah, now the war support's up a bit. We will grab total war economy, sorry, and that's fine. So that's looking good. It's just freed up a load of civilian factories. Right, Western Capital done. Again, we're working through this little tree at the moment. Colonial Shipbuilding is brilliant. It would give us 6 dockyards. However, I do really want to get the military factory, so I'm going down this route first. So already we've got 289 air experience, so I'm just going to be jumping onto air doctrine now. Work you all the way down the tree. The only really important ones to get, because a lot of it doesn't apply to us, is I go the left route here, which is the night bombing and mass bomber formations. Other than that, it doesn't really matter with our playthrough. Right, so we have the first batch ready, so I'm going to be sticking them into, just pause it really quick, sticking them into an army, giving them a field marshal. It doesn't really matter, but it keeps it nicely organised for me. We won't be doing any fighting, like I say, it will just be defence. Now, it'll still be quite well before they attack, so I will just spread them around quite happily. The only thing I will say is this middle island here doesn't seem to get attacked at all. That one, and these 2 here are the main ones that keep getting hit over and over again. But even that's going to say 103 now. I will just, in fact that one's pointless, but I will just spread them around a bit anyway. But yeah, just keep making as many troops as you can and getting them defending the East Indies. Alright, and with the East Indies war machine done, just going to pause the game really quickly. We'll grab Colonial Shipbuilding. And we now have enough factories to actually do something. So, I've set this up already, but it's going to be 2 on guns, because just from experience we need defence down in the East Indies. Everything else now we'll be going into strategic bombers. We are under at the moment, it'll creep back up, so don't worry about that. With 6 factories that's absolutely fine. So yep, that's looking good. Right, and finally in this tree it's going to be prepare for our return, which will be another 2 naval bases. So you can see now that we've virtually filled all this up, and we're going to have to buy some steel really quick. I actually changed from the UK, and I'm buying it from Australia and New Zealand now instead, just purely because it takes less convoys. I will actually grab some from the Soviet Union as well, because we are going to be under. So yeah, that's good. Right, prepare for our return is done. Now the focuses don't actually make a huge amount of difference. What I will do is do Phillips and expand R&D facilities for the extra research slot. Then I'll probably get down this right hand tree, but again now it's not really worth me doing a full guide on which ones to do now, because the biggest ones have already been done. Right, I wondered why the bombers weren't doing anything. I just went on here, and it's because this bloody airbase is overloaded. Other people decided to stick their stuff in there, which it really annoys me. Right, so I'm going to grab 3 of these now and stick them over on this one. Just keep this in mind. Like I say, it is if all of a sudden you go onto Italy and it's showing they've got no damage to their factories, that's flagging a big problem. So yeah, that's what just caused that. So a couple of minutes later, and all of a sudden, this is literally a couple of minutes later, we're up to 13, 15%. There we go. That sort of amount, 17%. Yeah, that's exactly what caused it. It's just keep an eye on the air bases. And so it begins. We have got a justification against us from Japan. So, if we have a quick look at Italy, I had to shunt all the bombers across the UK and bomb from there instead because they kept on messing around with the airfields down here. It's not a huge problem, but if you have a look, Italy have now got a third of their factories out of action. And why are we focusing on Italy? Because when the Americans do decide to attack Italy, they're just going to be a spent force. So now, basically Europe and the bombers and that sort of side of things, they can look after themselves. We're actually focusing on our own territory now, because Japan is going to start to invade us. What we're going to do, we're going to grab our navy and cancel what they were doing up in Italian waters. They'll still be on convoy raiding, but the first thing we're going to do is give them a naval base somewhere down here, so that one's absolutely fine. Convoy raiding again. So there. Trying to think where they invade from. So that'll be absolutely fine. We will use the these little ships down here. They're not particularly good. They will get sunk pretty quick, but they can go on convoy raiding as well, just to help out. So that's us sorted now, and we'll just wait for the invasion. I meant to add, by the way, that I've actually garrisoned the bit of Australia and British Malaya as well, those bits, simply because Australia do not defend their own territory. And what normally happens with this particular island down here is that Japan will navally invade here and then come straight across. So that's why I've done that. If we have a look at British Malaya, you can see that it's done it itself. I haven't positioned them, but like I say, they've got this tendency of knocking out British Malaya and then coming straight down to our territory, so that just covers us there too. And here we go. Right, Japan have declared war. What that is going to do is... Just give it a second. Yes, they can move troops through. Any second, I'm hoping... that America should join the Allies. So we'll accept all these non-aggressions, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, you can join. So we're already starting to sink lots and lots of... Wow, okay, loads of stuff happening. Whoa, okay. Yep, okay. Well, it looks like... Let me just double check on this because I just skipped a load of them. Yep, okay, America's joined the Allies. So, what we're going to see now is America is going to start doing stuff in Europe and completely ignoring Asia, but there we go. So we're now on defense mode. Now, going back to my convoys video, if you watched that, if you didn't, don't worry about it. Be very careful about accepting these lend-leases, because this one's a good example. We're going to end up getting offered this a lot of times. It's tempting to go, well, okay, that's loads of rifles. Yeah, except it will take 856 convoys, we've only got 70 spare as it is. Do not take this, because otherwise we will be completely out of supply for our resources. Now just jumping across to Europe really quickly. Have a look at this. Nearly half of Italy's factories are dead. And this is the whole point of this strategy, is that this side of Europe, Germany is virtually untouchable these days, but this side of Europe, they just can't get into Greece at all. once America do decide to invade the mainland of Italy, they're going to be absolutely kaput already, because they just have not got any military factories left. Well, I'm not quite sure how they've done it, and it might have something to do with the fact that Italy's absolutely dead. I mean, look at this, 44% of their stuff done. But we're early on. We're at December 41, and Russia's already managed to capitulate Romania, which is one of the biggest thorn in the side of any common Turner Axis player. So yeah, Serbia's going very, very well at the moment. Well, 1942, Greece still hasn't capitulated. We're doing absolutely fine over there. Interestingly, China and Japan finally signed a white peace, which means that it's basically just us and the Americans against them now. But yeah, it's going okay. They've managed to do a landing in France. They're still ignoring Italy, but if we have a look at Italy now, still well over half their factories out. So I'm just biding time. Well, I was actually looking at the East Indies without realising. I just came over here, and they've actually done an invasion. We are literally 2 provinces away from winning, so we will see what happens. Now, once they start liberating Amsterdam or Holland, you'll actually notice that we start getting some of our old factories back again, which does help. What we're actually waiting for is, I'm doing a random focus at the moment, is, if I scroll across to the left here, as soon as this one lights up and we complete that focus, that's the achievement got. Well, just came back across here and they've pushed us back out, but to be fair, they're coming down nicely from the left hand side there, and I am starting to see a few little bits coming across to Italy. It's fairly rare that they don't go for Italy first, but well, we'll see what happens. But like I say, I mean, our strategy's obviously worked, because with a weak Italy, Germany is just powerless underneath, which you can see here, so we're getting there. Right, well, finally, they've got their act together and invaded Sicily. They're doing pretty well down here against northern Italy as well, so it's just a waiting game now until we finally get liberated. So Rome's gone. Italy won't be far behind it. Let's have a quick look at them. Only 13% now, but they just lost most of their factories. And even there's no fanfare, Italy has just capitulated. Vichy France is gone as well. And to be fair, looking at this map, I would say that's pretty much the end of it for Germany as well. I mean, we're in August 1943, which is pretty good going. Well, unsurprisingly for the AI, France managed to capitulate itself, even though it was 97% towards bloody victory. So yeah, Vichy France had a little ditty bit in bloody Bordeaux, and then lost the whole, and then just France lost the whole lot. So it's not a huge problem, because you can see we've got most of our country back now. And also the German Reich's it's lost Berlin, it's on the verge of capitulation, so we're not far off. Now, because we're coming to the end of the game, I want to point out something, which Germany, I don't think they're overpowered. I think they're about the same as they always have been. Russia are absolutely fine if they're given a bit of hand from the West. What has changed in this game? Look at this. The Allies now spend most of their time just endlessly shifting their troops out to sea rather than actually doing anything useful. They very rarely actually do any decent naval invasions anymore. And yeah, I mean, it's Germany has changed a lot, or beaten Germany's changed a lot, but I really don't think it's that they've buffed Germany. I think it's they've absolutely nerfed the UK, France, and America now. Because I mean, America used to actually do some decent stuff over in Japan. Right, we're still at war with Japan, and look at this. There's not a single thing going on, you know. It's yeah. So anyway, but that's why my sort of whole point of this video was that if you do it the old way, the way that Germany and the Allies were, then it probably would have worked. But now you've got to do it another way, and really the easiest way to do it is by taking out Italy. Now, just before the German Reich capitulates, I want to point out, yesterday I won the war as well. So this, you know, you'll win the war either way with this strategy, just of bombing Italy. However, yesterday we sort of reached Berlin at the same time as Russia, and this just shows how bad the Allies are now. I mean, you consider you got the Americans and everything just floating off the bloody coast here, doing absolutely nothing for what, you know, the war's over in Europe, and they managed to free France and lose it again. Yeah, anyway, so It'll be the peace conference soon. Well, to be fair, we did not do badly at all. We actually got most of Germany. So, okay, on with the achievement. So, now we've got our homeland back. We can go to national focus, liberation, bump, and a couple of minutes later, you know, I've just released the German Republic as a puppet. So if we have a look, that's actually my puppet. I'm not entirely sure that's historically accurate, seeing as that's West Germany, that little tiny bit down by Munich there. But yeah, actually, considering we didn't actually do any fighting, we just literally did planes, that's pretty good going. I'm happy with that. Now have a look at this. This will give you an idea. Only once the war in Europe's over does America actually bother with Japan. I mean, look at the amount of troops they've got exiting. How, with that amount of troops, could they not have defeated the Axis? Anyway. Right, and finally, after all that, September 1944, it's about a year later than I did it in yesterday. Liberation is done, and that will pop the achievement. So where are we standing now? Well, to be fair, I'm not entirely sure why, but nationalist Spain just decided to join the Japanese. So they're currently eating into France. Everybody else, of course, is over here now focusing on Japan. But yeah, I mean, it's I've actually researched nuclear as well, so I mean, if you wanted to carry us on into a full world conquest, that would be your choice. But hope that helps, and I will see you for the next one.